the recently published government strategy on the Indo-Pacific, they say, and I quote, "In areas of profound disagreement, we will challenge China, including when it engages in coercive behavior or ignores human rights obligations." There's a wave of protests across China right now, and there are now reports of government crackdowns against those protests. If the government is serious about what it put in its strategy, then will they indicate to Beijing that the peaceful protest should be allowed to go ahead and that any crackdown should be resisted?
The Honourable Parliamentary Secretary to the Minister of Foreign Affairs.
We are following the unfolding events in China very closely. We remain in close contact with our embassy and consulate. We believe in freedom of expression at home and abroad, including in China, and that protesters should be able to peacefully protest and share their views without fearing for their safety. Mr. Speaker, we will continue to follow the events very closely. Thank you.
Mr. Speaker, the actions of Iranian and Chinese operatives in Canada has received a pathetic response from this government. Canada has become a doormat for foreign interference. Is the government aware of Article 41.1 of the Vienna Convention on Diplomatic Relations? It states that all persons enjoying privileges and immunities in Canada have a duty to, and I quote, respect the laws and regulations of the receiving state. They also have a duty not to interfere in the internal affairs of that state. Mr. Speaker, other nations expel pseudo-diplomats and agents. Does the government even understand the concept of persona non grata?
The Honourable Minister for Public Safety.
Mr. I want to be unequivocally clear that the government has taken decisive actions in sanctioning the Iranian regime, including most recently using a sparingly used provision under the IRPA Act to ensure that no one in the most senior echelons of the regime can set foot here or use Canada in any way as a safe haven to advance their transgression of human rights or terrorist activities. Mr. Speaker, we will stand with women in Iran. We will stand with all of those who are protesting. We will stand with the community to stand up for human rights both here and around the world. Thank you very much.
Mr. Speaker, the Ontario Superior Court has ruled that Iran's Revolutionary Guard is a terrorist entity under Canadian law. The courts have shown leadership while this government refuses to ban the IRGC. So my question is to the Attorney General. Now that the precedent has been set, will he advise all federal government departments that the IRGC is to be considered a terrorist organization under Canadian law? Will he respect the court decision, yes or no?
The Honourable Minister.
Mr. Speaker, first I want to underline that we stand with women who are marching for their rights in Iran. We stand with those who have been protesting here in Canada. We continue to engage with members of the community here because we know that this is a critical time to stand up for human rights. And Mr. Speaker, as I've said now on numerous occasions, that is why we have gone further than just looking at the IRGC as a problematic contributor to the transgression of human rights. We've targeted the entirety of the Iranian regime, Mr. Speaker, including members of the IRGC, which is a very effective tool that we can use to ensure that Canada will never be used as a safe haven for the transgression of human rights.